Good evening. I am back, speaking very slowly for some reason. I don't know. Let me think about it. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't stream last night. I'm still not really back in the groove of things, and my throat's still a little fucky, so, I kind of took last night to just relax a bit. In fact, before I start right now, I should turn my air conditioner's fan on, because it's a little stuffy in here. One moment. Heard that loud rumble there for a second? That's just my air conditioner, how it normally sounds. If I actually have it on, you would not be able to hear me on the stream at all. Turn up the sound just a tad. You could probably hear it in the background. I mean, it's unintrusive for what the stream is, so it's fine. So, it's been a while. I haven't played this since before I went to Atlanta. I finished Chapter 4, and that was kind of the end of it. So, we're about to start the last chapter of the second game, so the last chapter overall of this entire little sub-series of Ace Attorney. It's been quite a ride. So as a quick recap, Tobias Gregson, the inspector, is dead. We suspect that he was part of the Reaper of the Bailey as an organization, along with Giselle Brett, the girl from the very beginning of the first game. We believe that they were working together along with other people to essentially kill any guilty people that entered the Bailey that Van Zieks couldn't prosecute. Essentially, any cases that he lost where the person was actually guilty, the Reaper, this so-called Reaper, killed them. And it's apparently been revealed, or apparently being suspected, that Inspector Gregson, Giselle Brett, and at least one or two other people were forming an organization that ultimately made up the Reaper of the Bailey. We're not sure. Kazuma Asogi is alive. He is a prosecutor now, who was under Van Zieks' tutelage. But now, he is just the prosecutor in this case. Van Zieks is the one being accused of killing Gregson, possibly because of this Reaper connection. Kazuma believes that Van Zieks is the Reaper, and he wants to take him down. He's also got a vendetta against Van Zieks due to his father, Genshin Asogi, apparently being a serial murderer known as the Professor. And there's one thing led to another. We still don't know the truth here. Things have taken a weird turn. The biggest turn came at the end of Chapter 4, where we found out that Sasato's father is actually Herlock Sholmes' faithful partner, and possibly Iris's father as well. And that Dr. John H. Wilson was not actually related to her, which makes me wonder, what is his connection to all this, and why was he killed at the very beginning of the first game? Why did Giselle Brett murder him? And yeah, that's kind of where we are. It's all over the place, but hopefully this last case will pull it all together, and I think it will. So this is the final chapter. Still same case, just the second half of it. We've gathered a lot of info, and here we are at last. The resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. No intro, just right into it. 3rd November, 9:14 a.m., the Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. So, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Mr. Sato. Mr. Sato? Ah! Oh. Oh no, what's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Nothing. I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today, but... I'm so sorry. Of course, I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but... I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet, then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. I'm just gonna do a quick sound check here on my end. It's because it's still a little low, but I think that's just because of the air conditioner. Sasato-san isn't her usual self at all. Dear, I'm really very sorry. I'm just gonna do a quick sound check here. Okay, it's pretty good. You can't really hear the air conditioner in the background. That's pretty good. But that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She's just found out that her father's the partner of a world-famous detective. Not to mention... Ah, good morning, sir. Lord Van Zieks. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. The Reaper, I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all of this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zieks. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. That having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod. To wield a deadly blade of justice where I, by the dint of law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. When I lost him. That picture was Clint. I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. He misses his brother. Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you, Lord Clint Van Zieks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. Never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes, that burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Oh, Iris, when did you get here? Oh. I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him clear his head. I thank you. Oh. That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened to yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Seit's laboratory. Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you wanted to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh, yes. Would you take this? Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your... dangling? Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yes, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made once. A Hurley? Looks more like a Hairley to me. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. What? Pull his ears? That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. Iris's lucky charm has been entered into the court record. Little doll of Mr. Sholmes in hair form. I've been told to tug its ears if I run out of options in the trial today. You think what we'll need is luck? Oh, we still have all of our evidence from before. What a charming little rabbity version of Mr. Sholmes. Do you suppose this is how Iris sees him? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Your eyes are veritably boring into the poor doll's ears. Oh, sorry, I was just wondering. What do you suppose would happen if we were to tug its ears with all my might right now? I'm sure that we'll find out when the time is right. To become a proper gentleman, you must really learn stoic patience. But I want to know. Yeah, all of our shit is here. This really is just part 2 of the same trial. I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom, and it seemed very different to normal. Yes, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean? What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night, and he hadn't come home by the time I left this morning. He was yawning like I am right now. Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikotoba out all night too, do you think, Mrs. Sato? Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently, they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Jigoku, I mean. Judge Jigoku, too. That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Counsel the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. We must go inside now, Lord Van Zieks. Lord Van Zieks has always been the most formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. Excuse me. Lord Van Zieks has always been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. 3rd November, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom. Where's the judge? It feels even more impressive here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Ah! 1 second. I've just been taking medicine to help with the sore throat. It might be something bacterial or allergy related, I think. Because it's certainly not I don't think it's COVID. I've tested myself multiple times. In fact, I'm going to test myself one last time tomorrow just to make sure. But apparently I don't have COVID. I just have something else going on ever since I got home. I don't know what it is. But Mr. Naruhodo, look! Lord Stronghard! Cosmo must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now... Excuse me. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that the prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Mel Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. The Six Jurors Flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here are present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zieks. You are a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. Oh, Jesus. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Barrick Van Zieks, who officially stands accused of murder. Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going. Counsels for the prosecution and defense. Are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And those in clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Daily Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work, when in fact, he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as a chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson while investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Asogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on 31st October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. Oh shit, we're getting an updated autopsy report. This really is Ace Attorney now. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday. That the time of death was 5 p.m. on 1st November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes. Especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Laporte, representative of Scotland Yard. Self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina, again? What's your problem, Moto? What's with that Gina again look, eh? Ah. The boss meant the world to me. He'd done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh, Inspector Gregson, you mean? He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right, all out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes, no. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face. Lord Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Coming right up, sir. Victim's movements. All Yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. But a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is witnesses what saw the Reaper at that place too. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in that book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines. Goods of all sorts flow into London's by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets? It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. Do we know whether the dealings were taking place this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman club. In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be! We haven't heard anything of this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Barak Van Zieks, was present. That would be very significant testimony, then. Oh my, but... Lord Van Zieks has made no mention of this at all! Wait, okay, I'm sorry. Goods of all sorts, yeah. Disposed of regulate black markets. Police are really able to locate them. Investigating. Okay. So somehow, alright. Sorry, I was kind of reading through it and I realized I wasn't retaining any of that information the last, like, minute. In short, Lord Van Zieks had ample opportunity to murder the victim. Very well, then. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. Alright, well, let's just press everything. So you follow orders, do you, Gina? Nah, not me. I'm above all that, see? Oh. Boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go and give Toby his grub. That kind of thing. So errands more than orders, then. This detective is still an apprentice, after all. Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. I didn't find much at first.
Hold it!
So you went through Inspector Gregson's things? Yep, as part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative. So I snuck into his office when no one else was about. Because if anyone at the yard had seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight out of the street, onto the street. This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook. You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector? Oh my god. That's a term. You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and her trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby. We found it hidden in the back of one of his desk drawers that had a false bottom. That's impressive. So then I went to hide myself where no one could find me so I could have a butcher's at what was written in it. Because if anyone at the yard had found me out, they'd have turfed me straight onto the street. You know, hearing the phrase turf and thinking about Britain, that makes a lot of sense in retrospect. I've given it now, though, ain't it? I've given it in now, though, ain't I? And if it weren't for me, it would have never been found. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. Oh, why am I reading the green text?
Hold it!
Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by smugglers in the future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings. I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I gotta do is read it out. And I could, too. I got this reading game buttoned up now. Can't I show you what I can do? Go on, what's the on? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Strongheart didn't like that. Kazuma? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Right then. I get to show off me reading skills. Ah, that's so nice. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse.
Hold it!
Grouse? Sorry. A little Scott the Wazzy for you there. I just realized he's been in like 6 videos on like other channels lately, but he hasn't made a video of his own in a while. And I think he actually posted something on his Twitter saying he's like been very busy, which doesn't surprise me. I kind of figured he was really busy with what he was doing. Because he's doing a fuckload these days, huh? Grouse? What sort of club is that? I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. But I am kinda curious. They're not places where a foreign student like you would be readily admitted. Have you looked in the mirror recently? Tell you what, me and Chief Inspector Toby can go in undercover. Could you, though? I could pick out a few good marks and see what else I could find while I was in there. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings were going to take place, is it? Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower-ranking detectives at the yard reckon. Says the even lower-ranking detective. Looks like it was part of a big job and coppers went onto it. Alright. So how did Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's the question, ain't it? But I'm just an apprentice, so... And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself, because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. And it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on in that club. No question. Can't say for certain, though, surely. What matters there is those witnesses what saw the Reaper at that place, too. Lord Van Zieks was at the club? He's getting crunk. He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. They said he was pretty, hammered off his balls. And by that I mean he hammered his own balls to the wall. With an actual hammer. He likes CBT, that's what I'm saying. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. Looks like there's no disputing that he was there then. Well, we know that Lord Van Zieks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook. Which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably, then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there? None have been identified at this time, no. So the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Oi, why aren't you asking Inspector Lestrade here, eh? So that's all I've got to work with. Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? I really don't know what to make of all this. Lord Van Zieks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. You don't think Lord Van Zieks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Oh, everything Lord Van Zieks has told us is true, and there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. You mean, there are details we've yet to uncover? Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here. Goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called The Grouse. The Grouse. Have we, have we seen the Grouse get mentioned anywhere here? Huh. Clint's autopsy report. The Grouse, huh?
Hold it!
We didn't really get a whole lot out of here. Found a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. Can we have the notebook? Apparently the smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. Looks like it was a big job and all, the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is there are witnesses who saw the Reaper at the place too. What saw the Reaper? What saw the Reaper? Is there anything we have that might imply that
Hold it!
I don't know.
Hold it!
There's not a lot to go through with, like, to work with here.
Hold it!
Must be a mistake in the testimony. Secret papers, Greggson's autopsy report. Really? There's nothing there. I don't know. Passport authors him to travel overseas. It's one day before the incident. Yeah. Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered?
Objection!
But that wasn't it! My lord, as counsel for the defense, I must object to that last statement. And as the judge, I must deny your objection. There is no contradiction here. Oh, no contradiction other than the fact that a Far Eastern lawyer is practicing in a British courtroom. But thereby not so far away Lord Chief Justice, if you remember. Coppers weren't onto it yet. These witnesses so... I don't know. Maybe I have to adjust the bumpscosity a bit in this game. Wouldn't it be funny if, like, every game I have now that I unlocked it in Stanley Parable, every game just has bumpscosity as an option? And it just never it never tells you, it does something, but it just never tells you what it actually does. The bumpscosity here is off the charts. I'm gonna have to lower it. You live. Hey. Good evening. Ugh. Alright, I'm already stuck at the first thing, so you didn't miss a whole lot, aside from the fact that Strongheart is the prosecutor, is the judge now, for some reason. You just came back from the store? Ooh, was it a convenience store? Did you get chips or other assorted snackos? Costco. Oh, you have a Costco membership? Nice. I don't, but occasionally I'll get stuff from people who have memberships, and they sell good shit there. They really do. Their cake. The Costco cake. I love the Costco cake. It's so sugary and bad for you, but it tastes great. Wish, but you're too chicken to go out there alone at night. Alright, that's fair. We had a supermarket sweep, so it was a fun time scooting around. Oh, that's cool. Scoot. Alright. Gentlemen's club called the Grouse. Okay, so the passport was not the answer here. The day before the body was discovered. Trying to fight the urge to buy more art supplies. Where I have had no self-control lately with spending money. I really need to stop for a while. I think after my trip next month, I'm gonna be like, okay, outside of the video games I already had planned, no spending for like 3 months. Just save. Search for the boss's office, turn up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. Smuggle goods deal is going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. I don't know. This is very, Turn up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. Could this be wrong? Because why would he keep that at the office?
Objection!
No. That last statement seemed a little questionable to me. What do you think, my lord? I see no inconsistency there. Do you? You could spend the Straits of Dover with those wide eyes, Counsel, and be gone from this island forever, I hope. Do you want me to fill the English Channel with the tears? I don't know. Don't throw a hard one at me right out of the gate. It's the beginning of the chapter. Grouse. Issue for travel to France the day before his body was discovered. Seriously, the variety art box is on clearance and it's 60 off of 90, so, I mean, that's pretty good. Pain, weep.
Objection!
That wasn't right either. The witness's last statement exhibits a fundamental inconsistency. Not one that any British court would recognize, counsel. What? Remember, this is a closed court. Whatever fate befalls you in here, no one outside will ever know. Should I be wondering if I'll make it out of this courtroom alive? Weep. What matters is you're a dumbass, Naruto. No wife and into club, no wife and into club, give me $20. No other way around. It's no, give me $20, give me $20. No wife and into club. So to pay shipping and it's nearly $10, so why? So I actually have a good story, because this involves a game that I may play on stream someday. There's a visual novel / like mech battle RTS called 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim by Atlas, and it recently came out on Switch, full $60 game. Yesterday Best Buy was selling it for $40, but for some reason you couldn't order it online. It was like pickup only. It was like, okay, just ship it to me from another store. I'll pay like an extra $4 for shipping if you could just get it to me. But apparently it was not an option, so Best Buy was out. Then today Amazon had it on sale for $40, and I'm like, oh cool. And they offer free shipping on it. So I'm getting the game physically for $40 with like $2 tax on it. I'm so happy. Because that was a game I was curious about, but I didn't want to pay a full $60 for it. It was one of those ones I'd wait for a sale, and this was a pretty good deal. Don't know when I'll stream it. I know it's a very interesting game, but I'm not going to stress myself adding that into the schedule right now. Okay, I've made no progress here at all. Gentleman's Club called the Grouse. Little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings on it. Child shop. Ugh. You know what to do. If you see a good deal on it, I would say just go and get it. I still think, like, this is the only statement that changed, so I still think that this is the statement you need to present on. But I don't know what this has to do with anything. No returns, though, but you may get something real cool. Bird lime. I have a few wigs. They're old, but they're for cosplay. Lego my ego. It's... oh, because of the pattern underneath it?
Objection!
Oh, that wasn't right either. Oh, no! This is the first choice, and I've already been held up 20 minutes. Those witnesses what saw the Reaper at that place, too. Okay, maybe the mistake is that the club is wrong or something. But there's nothing to determine where Clint would be, or where Barrick would be. Clint's his brother. Yeah, everything's getting more expensive. It's not good. We're having a real issue here, and no one's fixing it. Man, what's going on here? I don't know. I literally have no idea what this could be. They really aren't giving me anything to work with here. Maybe it's the watch because it hasn't started ticking? He had wound every day without fail. As well bandage or whatever. No, don't say that, but it's just, it's hard. Ah, Mr. Sholmes can repair it, don't you? Yes, I should think so. He's very adept at things like this. Useful man to have around. Pokeball. See, my pocket watch, the time-setting nub and the wind mechanism are the same thing. You pull it out and twist it to adjust the time, and then you push it in and twist it to adjust the to wind it up. Probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it? I like my pocket watch, but it doesn't work right. I think it belonged to my grandfather, and the problem is it doesn't, like, if it's tilted a certain way, even if it's wound up, it won't tick. So it just doesn't work. Also, it doesn't have a cover on it. It's only this part right here. It's only the actual watch part. I don't know.
Objection!
Wasn't right either. Well, that's that. We've wasted enough time. It's clear to me that any further discussion of this case will be fruitless. Barrick Van Zieks, I would like to think that, however misguided, you acted out of a sense of justice nonetheless, though it pains me to have reached this conclusion. No, wait, my lord! In accordance with the findings of this court, I hereby pronounce the defendant, Barrick Van Zieks, fucking owned. This concludes business. Court is adjourned. Alright, we're gonna make this quick and just resume from here. I don't know the logic here. I'm not getting, like, I'm not going from point 1 to point Q. Cops went on to it yet, Witnesses what saw the Reaper at that place too.
Hold it!
Yeah, people don't... It's hard. I don't wanna... Ugh. Q's being admitted to the room in question as a guest. I don't know. I think it has to do with the passport. Q from Fighting Street? Q? No, Q like the Q room from Zero Escape.
Objection!
Nope. Ha da 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 da. Da 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 da. Oh yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim, brother.
Objection!
Oh, that's not it either! I like that guy, he's cool. I've never heard... Fighting Street? Are you talking... Oh, you mean Street Fighter. You mean Q from Street Fighter. Yeah, I get ya. I know who... Yeah.
Objection!
Okay, I'm just throwing shit at the wall now and seeing what sticks, because I can't... Can't do this.
Objection!
This game's really gonna do this to me?
Objection!
Yell at the game. You can do that. In the DS Ace Attorneys, you could use the microphone to shout objection.
Objection!
Though really, any loud noise would work. Okay. I have no fucking clue what I'm supposed to do here. Because clearly, the issue... Alright.
Objection!
I don't know! Oh, yeah. The only thing I can think of is that he was supposed to be gone on the day in question. I don't want to Google, because then that's cheating. Maybe it has to do with the red hair. The red herring.
Objection!
Nope. Oh, why is the first one so hard? This logic isn't connecting for me.
Objection!
I don't know. I made it through this whole series without looking the answer up.
Objection!
But I'm just stumped. I just have no idea what they want me to present here. No statements changed except for this one. The problem is I need to figure out what's going on here. They're saying that that inspector was supposed to be at this one bar getting information, and that they saw Van Zieks there, but no one saw what's his name there. So
Objection!
I don't know.
Objection!
Like the I don't know. I just saw the Reaper there. Okay.
Objection! Hold it!
Oh my god, are we really doing this? Like, right at the beginning? Coppers weren't onto it yet. It was a big job. Smuggler was gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse, okay? What does that have to do with anything? Maybe it's the time? No.
Objection!
The issue is that... the issue I'm having is I thought he was out of the country. I don't know. I just don't get what I'm supposed to present here.
Objection!
He didn't have his ID on him? No?
Objection!
Wasn't the pocket watch. We know it wasn't the winder. Wasn't the autopsy report.
Objection!
Nope, not the notice board. I don't, like, my mind just isn't taking any of the evidence and forming a connection here with what I'm supposed to look at. I'm assuming this is the statement that I'm supposed to look at, because it's the only one that's changed at this point. I don't know. Looks like it was a big job and all the coppers weren't onto it yet. Okay. Hey there, super late to the playthrough. Glad you could catch this one. Oh, hey, Ephraim. How you doing? Ephraim. I am absolutely stumped here. I don't know what to present. This one's getting me right off the bat. Excuse me. Legit stumped by this one. Okay. Big job. Coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is there's witnesses. Cops weren't aware yet. There were witnesses? Well, there are witnesses who say they saw Van Zieks here, but they didn't see Gregson. So that's a bit interesting, but I've tried presenting like half the stuff I have here already, and I don't know what it is. Okay, this is actually getting frustrating now. I think I've been on this cross-examination for 30 minutes. How much should you spoil? I really don't want any spoilers, but it's like, I don't know what to do with this one. There's just no logical connection between anything she's saying and the evidence I have. Follow orders and investigate what they're told. Okay. Little notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. I don't think... No. That wouldn't be it. Gentleman's club called the Grouse. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the Reaper in that place too. If you know what statement to present on, that would help me. Because this game doesn't have a help feature like the newer ones. All you can think of is the wig. All you can think of is the wig in the photo, but what though? Clue, perhaps. Wait, what photo? Smoking goods deal was going to happen at the Grouse. This wasn't it. These weren't it. This photo is not relevant. Not that. Have you examined all your evidence? Forget to do that more often. You've seen this huge gash across the side. I have examined everything, but I'm not sure. Maybe I missed something. For a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged, whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. Wonder how it happened. There's a blood stain on this side. Look at this dark stain here. Do you think... Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. I knew you were going to say that. So that presumably means... This was a present... Was a present? And this was present at the scene where Inspector Gregson was killed. The most logical conclusion, yes. I think Jean has been carrying this around with her. If you didn't know any better, I suppose it does look like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. Oh, Naruhodo, you dummy, open it. Okay. Nothing up here, and it doesn't look like anything's here outside of the passport. Yeah, travel for 31st in October. Which is also right here. Within 1 week from 31st of October. ACD 0522. The Sogi papers, it doesn't really help. We've checked that, we've checked this. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. 10 years ago's Browning with age, look out of interest. The most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Red-headed League, yeah. Doesn't mention anything about the Grouse, though, do you? There's a red hairpiece at the scene, too. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-headed League? No, nothing mentioning the Grouse over here. There's the bloody handprint. Okay. Crime scene. Wasn't there an ad or something about the League? Yes, there was. I don't think there's anything mentioned here, though. Public health report, St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Large park on Lime Street. Fantastic money-making opportunity. Photograph of Mr. Vigil. This is just Professor Mikotoba's handwriting. Blackbird Line. Oh, the wait a minute, SS Grouse. Oh shit. Oh, so it wasn't a club. He was meeting him. He was meeting them on the boat. Shit. I didn't think that would have any bearing on this at all. September 11th. Is that how they pronounce it? Because they say the date, they say the number, and then the month without an of in the middle. So it's like 11th September, 31st October. Oh wow, how strange. Where could it have gone? You looked this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo. I imagine it was that comment accompanied by a little sigh.
Objection!
There we go. God. God! Okay. Take a sip of drink. I'm good. Zen. Actually, Ephraim, it's funny. You mean in Japanese, they do something like Juichi no Kyu. No, I mean like how they read it here. Because anytime they mention a date in like British English here, they just say the number and then the month. They say 11th September. Like, would that be something that has a comma in like normal American English? But yeah, I figured it out after 30 minutes of flubbing around. That's the Ace Attorney way. I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening in a club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. They should really drill into your head examining evidence to support. No, they did. I just didn't realize that it would be found on that ticket. I literally had zero thoughts about the ticket until it happened. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? Nope, I'm doing the same voice for both of them. I mean that place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on 31st October. See? 31st October. There's no of in the middle there. May not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it here. Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. This would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection!
So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. It does sound like an odd thing to say, but it seems like many places do that, or just omit the 3rd, 4th, 31 October. Yeah, I don't know. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on 1st November. The day in which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, the day in question here, 31st October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission. That ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. But the 31st was the day he was coming back from France, and I'm pretty sure he was on that same boat that Mikotoba mentioned. So Gregson must have been on that boat with Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku. Oh god, fucking damn it. I think I already know where this is heading. That ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claims that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on 31st October. Port of Dunkirk, France. Yep.
Take that!
What's this? A passport for travel. Issued to the victim. Actually, Ephraim, it's funny that you're here, because, if it wasn't for Reboot Camp getting delayed again, I would not be playing this right now. That was, like, the last game I was waiting for from, like, the big, like, March, April release rush, and because it got delayed, I just pushed this game up on my in my queue, which is, I guess, a blessing and a curse. I have so much to play, but man, I want Reboot Camp to come out already. Please. Dated 31st October. What are you suggesting? Yeah, all of us were. Yeah. I've played both 1 and 2. Here's the thing, I'm not really a competitive player. I haven't really delved into, like, the nitty-gritty of the online Advance Wars community. But, I have played 1, 2, and Days of Ruin, so very much looking forward to experiencing them, or the first 2, through the remakes. I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Could have been a little more dramatic there. Order! Order! There are some good Advance Wars fan games out there now, though. True. I mean, the thing is, do I want to play more Advance Wars, or do I want to play through Fire Emblem, because I haven't played most of those yet? Then I think about Three Houses, how it takes like 80 hours to play through that game, and I'm like, nah. My patience for turn-based strats is not super high. That's why I'm looking forward to Advance Wars, because that's probably going to be my one for the year. My Playdate screen get scratched? No, it didn't. Okay. I saw the video you did recently on the update for that for the Advance Wars fan hack you were working on, where you could use the APCs to build refueling stations. It's pretty cool. This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. Alpha. Got it. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board, at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean you knew about this? Prosecution strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating the contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations, and the line of prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? And now you've expertly disproven their assertion. I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asogi? A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it is my duty to present all the facts without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? Oh, also, I just want to say this. You said that you were finally able to catch one of my streams. This is actually only like the second stream I've done in the last 2 weeks. Because I was at Furry Week in Atlanta, literally the day I spoke to you on FA. I was heading to Atlanta, and then when I came back, I didn't stream for pretty much the entire time until last night. So that's why it seems like you like I haven't been I've just been, like, out of, like, the time that you were active. No, it's just this is my first, like, normal stream back in like 3 weeks, in 2 weeks almost. Let me guess, that was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? Nice, well, thank you for stopping by, I appreciate it. Always do. The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. The Reaper? Order, what on earth are you saying, Counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. Barak Van Zieks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast-iron alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. Space Reaper did it. And you claim that it was Inspector Gregson. What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never have done nothing like that. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. Even so, there's no way that person giving him the orders was Lord Van Zieks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Barak Van Zieks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh? You have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, Counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku were on that very ship. If somebody had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. Pfft. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board that ship. And then Cosmo just gets flashbacks to the last time he was on a ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade. What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. It doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey. You're lying. Even if all them bludgers got what was even if all them bludgers what got taken out had it coming. The boss weren't the Reaper. Poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors. I ain't heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it. I've been streaming this game for over a month, damn. Want to get this animated so I could hear Gina talk. That would be cool. I would love an animation of Great Ace Attorney. It's do pretty good as like a limited series. As janky as the Ace Attorney anime was, I did like how they handled the end of the third game. when they used music directly from the DS versions in the soundtrack. Then testify again as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Who does he have a crush on? Is it me? I hope it's me. And I just got Arnold Palmer in my eye. Cool. Thanks, you retired golfer, and your delicious drink for stinging my eye with lemon juice. Reaper's notebook. Was it GBA music they used? I actually can't remember. It's really hard to tell because it was clearly low quality. But I mean, even the DS version, like you put that in an anime, and you're gonna tell that's not a rendition of a song made for the anime. It probably was the GBA version, just because they seem to like disregard any sort of DS era stuff nowadays. And then they saved enough money for the lunch budget. Yes, Notebook does have a load of stuff what with the Reaper got up to the past 10 years. Names of the victims, dates and places and stuff, and the last entry in there was 31st October. It said grouse for the place on that date, and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or summit. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only the established fact here. Ooh. Nice. Fred's sending me pictures on Discord. This must be so hard for her. You can't deny it now, surely, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What can I deny? The notebook contained the name of the final mark, and the location of where the assassination would take place. That's information the victim could have only known if he was working with the Reaper. Ah! So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on the 31st October. It's gonna be Judge Jigoku, isn't it? How do you read this then? Reading's still not her strong suit. Ain't the problem, right, Odo? It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's odd to read, yep. I had a feeling, because they mentioned during the Professor trial that at some point Judge Jigoku himself was put on trial for causing a scene or something, and he was acquitted. And it would make sense that if he's believed to be guilty, which given the facts that's happening here, I'm starting to think that Judge Jigoku might not be a good person. So it's someone from overseas. Let me have a bash at it. Yep. Seishiro. Seishiro, is it? Yeah, Seishiro. G-O-Q, maybe? Jigoku literally means hell. What did you expect? What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku? But that's Judge Jigoku. Also, I'm sorry. I just realized I'm peeking. I just didn't want the air conditioner to drown me out. Seishiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right.
Objection!
But that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku. And I saw him the day before yesterday, here in London. So I know for a fact the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. Already using AC. Yeah, I have the fan on. It's quiet, but it's still loud enough you can hear it on stream. Like, if I don't talk, you could probably hear it. But then if I actually turn the AC on, you'll know immediately. Yeah, you hear that? Imagine trying to sleep with this noise all night when it's hot out. not good. It's not fun. Big Bird needs AC, then again, Big Bun needs it too. Yep. Oh, here. Let me show you my gamer board in the corner there. I don't have a PNG tuber or VTuber model, but Toxicow made this for me a while back, and I've used it pretty much whenever I have space open on the stream window, and also I use it for my thumbnails on YouTube when I upload my VODs. Still don't know why it makes the capture card like skip when I do that. It didn't used to do that. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake, so he killed the inspector. Personally. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Barak Van Zieks. It's an undeniably logical argument. Hazima. You planned for the trial to go all this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it!
What are those? Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice whilst I stand accused of murder. Lord Van Zieks? The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. He will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. That girl is no detective. What? Nah, that's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumors heard around the yard, reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony, it's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you clearly planned. That leg. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper. Who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself. By attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say? Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. I actually have a sound effect for that. Very well, I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Insert Castlevania joke here. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel of the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately. Why'd you do that? At once, my lord. It is Castlevania. Naruhodo has the level 2 whip upgrade. You can see it on the little pin, on his little second-year pin on his neck. Yeah, his notebook does have a load of stuff. What the week for the past 5 years? Name of the
Hold it!
Alright, so we know what we gotta do here. This one's gonna be easy. In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you and all. That's the only explanation, isn't it? Very nonplussed. It could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and that notebook said what he found out. If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believe the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. Excuse me, a little too much sauce today. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What do you want about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. with you at its head. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know where he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in this book. I knew the location. You knew it said grouse? Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone. So that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there. They wanted 20 pounds and they said no maidens in the club. But of course the inspector was not there. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. Fine. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago. Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I?
Hold it!
Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff? What in particular? Well, beside the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up. What other name was that? It's the one I told you yesterday. The same name, written over and over again. You mean... Asashin? Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday? Asashin. The assassin. What, like a killer, you mean? Assassin. She's not even listed in here, is she? No, she's not. New worst pun name ever. When I heard Aishin, I thought it was gonna be a Japanese person. I still don't understand what the connection is with her, though. Like, why did she kill Dr. Wilson, and why? Well, I know why she got killed in the beginning of this game, but crazy that she got taken out by just some random dude. What, like a killer, you mean? Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing the plans was someone else, you're saying. If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. And perhaps it said in this passport document, permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. That additional person have been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Seishiro Jigoku's life. Gina, can you confirm that? Against the final entry listed Grouse and Seishiro Jigoku, what name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it, as it happens. Well, she's dead. She wouldn't be able to kill anyone. It just had like a question mark or something at there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. Right. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not? Oh, how infuriating. A nameless assassin. It said grouse for the place and that date and time, and then the name of the mark.
Hold it!
And you're saying that the mark listed was Seishiro Jigoku. That's what it said. Funny name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. Odd Odo. So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. Supreme victory! I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago. Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That's like the third time today that the word tutelage has come up in something that I've written. That bearded young fellow is a very able man, I must say. So Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor. Mentor? If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago? After that fateful case. Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. Repatriation. Oh, because he was an expat, so he's being repatted. There we go. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. I didn't think it was possible, but the mood in here has gotten even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking. There was a note about him being a criminal who got away from the Reaper and...
Hold it!
What do you mean a criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me. I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was related to the Professor case, I'm sure. Yes, of course, you're right. Seishi was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. It was a pitiful situation, yes. I've forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens. You did? It was considered to be an adjunct to the professor's proceedings, you see. He was acquitted after being told to make reparation for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. What's happening? Uh-oh. What'd you send me? Dutch Bros stoked for... Oh god, the picture I sent you, shut up! Oh no. I'm not wearing that, by the way, right now. Just so we're aware. Searching for a Stoked Summer. High Dive Lemonade. That is not a Game Boy. What is that? It's got the High Dive logo on it. It's clearly just a mock-up. Shipped. Now arriving early. Friday, May 20th. My Aegis Rim copy. Wow. I love that. I get the cheapest shipping, the free shipping on Amazon. They're like, okay, it won't come for like another week. And then they tell me like, oh, by the way, it just shipped 10 minutes ago. It'll be there Friday. Wow. Cool. Awesome. $40 copy of Aegis Rim. Or Aegis Rim. Aegis Rim? I don't know. Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. What? No! Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Jigoku was targeted for assassination... The man was sent back to Japan immediately after the trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that? Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd, killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension. But... Voiceless objection. Right, I've just about had enough of this. Gina? All this nonsense about the boss plan to kill people? It's cobblers. Come on, Odo. Yeah? Why ain't you saying nothing? Why? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something? What? You gotta find a flaw. You do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You've gotta work out who it is. Please. The boss. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear? If I've had it with a lot of you. It lies beyond every bleeding place you look in this world, innit? Well, I've had enough. Gina. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruhodo? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean... I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. Come on, Odo, help. You gotta find a flaw somewhere.
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. What do you mean? Also, Strongheart, God, shh. Oh, don't worry. I don't think Strongheart, like, trust me. I have a feeling that by the end of this case, there's going to be more than one villain. Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. I think Strongheart's very much responsible for something here. I just haven't pieced it together fully yet. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency? Really, Odo? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... Yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... It was Cosmo, wasn't it? Oh, this doesn't go back that far.
Take that!
By you, Kazuma Asogi. Me. Is this some attempt at a filibustering council? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. It was the case, right? Very well then, counsel, go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Asogi said?
Take that!
This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A blood stain? And a relatively fresh one, too. What? You mean that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips? Yeah, no, it's not red grease from fish. Now I kind of want fish and chips. I might have to order some on Friday for my lunch, for my my work lunch. Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it. Me, with me nose for trouble. Which means nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because of the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, I showed him the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Yeah. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection!
But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On 31st October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... No fucking way. No, this ain't it. I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Cosmo was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose. Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think... Come on, Ryunosuke, you know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector? He was there with Gregson. There's a clue that you've overlooked, a secret that the trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point. I'll need to verify it. I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Where is the evidence that ties Professor Asogi to Inspector Gregson?
Got it!
This is your proof? What do you say to that, Professor Asogi? Personally, I think tying the defense counsel to the inspector's trunk and tossing it in the sea would be more helpful. What? At least that way, London's courtrooms will be safe from his destructive accusations. Oh, I thought it was the slash. Okay, never mind. I believe that was a rather long-winded way of telling you that you're wrong, Mr. Naruhodo. Very well, then let us see if you sink or swim under the weight of this penalty, counsel. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, you can't allow yourself to be drowned at sea yet. I was hoping to never let that happen, funnily enough. Okay. It's the passport itself. Let's have a look inside. It's not fucking weird, you piece of shit, Stoner!
Got it!
Wait, that's wrong too? What the fuck? Huh? Alright, I guess I had to actually read the damn thing. Oh, come on. Really? This is Sunday stream all over again. I'm cracking packs open and getting awful pulls. Something's stuck in the side of the trunk there. It's glinting. Wait, what? There's a... Huh? Fragment of metal of some sort. But it's wedged in so tightly I can't remove it. Don't cut yourself. You'd better leave it, I think. Oh, I didn't even notice that. You see this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind. Gosh, for the metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged, the metal gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. I wonder how it happened. The frig! I didn't even know notice that metal piece. Dang. Well, if that metal piece is the tip of the sword, that means that we just have to look at his swords. God knows he has enough of them.
Got it!
There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here. Like the tip of a blade. A blade? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karuma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it, here in this courtroom? For all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch prosecutor Asogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Oh no! The tip is broken. I love the localization issue now that because someone took the Blade's name as their last name. They eventually just married. They eventually got corrupted into German descent, and Karuma became Von Karma. It's funny. There's just no explanation for that. If the fragment of the metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed. Kazuma Asogi. I brought my sword knowing it could be tied to the victim. Asogi Kazuma. Yeah. Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you and well deserved. He brought a sword to a gunfight, though. No one was killed with the sword. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi? Yes, on 31st October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. Oh, stream, stop dropping frames now. It's the time for that. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? What? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk, but I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it? We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Jigoku's cabin? Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. Sorry. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. For some reason he lost all color and he was just a silhouette now. I don't know how it happened. Probably poor loading. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure. Failure? Whoa. Causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger. I'm sorry, but Van Zieks does not seem like a gun guy. He seems like a guy who would also use a sword and end this wretched agent's life. His wretched. Ba-ba-boop, ba-ba-beep, ba-ba-beep. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing, as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? Van Zieks would smash his chalice on the guy's face, yeah. Or he'd axe kick them. I mean, clearly that thing is powerful. If you've ever seen the video of the guy axe kicking the desk at his place of work and it just falling apart, that is a great video. As a guy, I think that was Matt, or it was either Matt or someone else from Rooster Teeth or Achievement Hunter in their office, and they just axe kick their coworker's desk and the whole thing falls apart and the guy's computer gets ruined. Really funny. I think it was Matt. I think it was Axial Matt that did that. I don't need to answer that. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to this case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to be silent on that matter. Oh no, it was Jeremy. It was Jeremy from Achievement Hunter. He axe-kicked Gavin Free's desk. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. No, can't have it. As you wish, my lord. The illustrious blade passed down through the generations of the Asogi clan. Our sword's tip has a small piece missing. Great sword Karuma. We must take immediate action now to verify whether Seishiro Jigoku remains unharmed. Yeah, where the hell is he? Karuma, the great blade. It's such a thing of beauty. I want to gaze on it for hours. Okay, nothing unusual going on there. The tip of the great sword. Broken. Such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost hear Karuma's sobs. Cosmo must have really taken a swing for that to happen. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. It should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignity invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours. It's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks? He's like, you're just a little bitch. If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order in the court. Order. We'll take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. Oh no, not Judge Jigoku. No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. I mean, if you looked at the dude, you wouldn't think he's harmless. Dude's built like a fucking brick house, man. Except that is... for the Reaper wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. Whether or not that's a brick shit house or some other type of house is yet to be seen, I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake... I like sake. My lord? I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Knowing Strongheart, though, it'll be like 4 hours before the court reconvenes. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either, but on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careering towards a foregone conclusion. What? Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course. The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us. Crack open another Arnold Palmer. I have enough. It's still long enough before I go to bed that I can afford it, and I am getting kind of parched. Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Harley's ears or not? Let's do it. Here goes then. I'm going to do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. No looking back. Heave! Ow! That scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here. It's the felt doll talking. Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll put all my strength into it. Heave! Ow! Please, my dear fellows, I don't need to pull my ear off. Bunny Sholmes, yeah. His hat is not as distinguished as your top hat, though. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left Dover last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port in order to board the vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? The steamship was where everything really took place. Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective. Recited to perfection. Well done! You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. Ow, ow, ow! Mr. Sato, gently with this genius's ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. How did you make a long-range transmitter like this in 1890X? If I may, Sholmes, is that a mouse lawyer? Is it? No, I think it's supposed to just be dressed like Iris. If I may, Sholmes. Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. You may remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday, when we examined the notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert the fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? We just entered a recess. Trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say... Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall welcome news for you within the half hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later, then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if not in touch. You'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow! 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 I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging in my ear in that mindless fashion. What was the idea behind making a receiver operate in that way in the first place, Sholmes? Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine. All my voices are just starting to blend together now. Am I gonna play as Mikotoba now? First segment? Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin. Yep, that's Biff. Biff Stroganov. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. I don't believe an investigation of this cabin is going to be plain sailing. The crewman sitting in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow. Why are you loitering here? Who are you? His hair's a different color, I think. My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor? Oh, it's chicken stroganoff. Chicken stroganoff, god damn it. So beef stroganoff and chicken stroganoff. Why does it say Sholmes on his arm? Chicken stroganoff when you see great detective. Ha! I don't think so. Do you see that, Mikotoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. Goodness me, is that a tattoo? That says Sholmes? I must say, with such adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold. Those look like those could be numbers. 5, 2, 3, 1, 0, 4, 4, 5. It's Leon upside down. What are you talking about? Leave now. How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by my name and not by my appearance. Yet I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikotoba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. It is no one with that name on board, but we know he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern Man. He left ship 2 hours ago, here at Dunkirk. Said something about the emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So Seishiro's realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We would like to investigate, please. No, I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikotoba, be a good man and draw this sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area. Doesn't great detective see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? Curses, the plan is ruined! You have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Opening any lock? Within a mere 5 seconds. So be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner. How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man, so... Yeah, max level lockpicking. Dude's a beast at Fallout 4. Good man, so, the game is afoot. Appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it. No, I think not. That would never work, surely. I need to concoct another distraction. There's another first-class cabin and its doors completely unguarded. Empty as well. I had a quick look inside earlier. Though I confess I didn't investigate the wardrobe. There may very well have been a young Japanese fellow inside, perspiring merrily. If you're referring to Naruhodo, you know very well that he's currently perspiring merrily in court. Does it not strike you, though, Mikotoba? Why the man stands guard only in the front of this cabin when both apparently are vacant? This must be a mousetrap, I think. Perhaps I could distract the crewman's attention with this somehow. Choo-choo. That sounds like Big Mouse in Trap. Choo-choo. I'll bring bucket of water later and put it out of misery. I don't like the sound of that. It's funny to imagine like 50-year-old Professor Mikotoba making mouse noises. In any case, my dear fellow, that was quite unconvincing. Only Japanese mice make a chew sound. Oh, really, Sholmes? And pray tell what sound do Russian mice make? PP, naturally. Though also quite unconvincing, I readily admit. So go ahead, Mikotoba, do a PP this time. No, thank you. I'm sure I could come up with an alternative solution. It's the way back to the deck. But we certainly can't give up on this now. You take a PP, yeah. It's a speaking tube for members of the crew to communicate with one another on the ship. If I could just persuade one of our stocky sailor friend that he needed to use it. Sholmes could unlock the door whilst he was distracted. The question is, how? About the ledger here. Ah, the switch for the electrical lights. Perhaps if I were to turn off the lights, the crewmen wouldn't be able to see what we were doing. Ah, what is happening? Where's light? Now, Sholmes, now! Nobody there. That was a close shave. What a knack you have, stumbling so violently in an apparently empty corridor. Do be quiet, Sholmes. I shall have to think of another approach. He's like a Neo-Temple Guardian statue, this fellow, the way he's glaring at us so fiercely. Tell me, why are you standing guard here as if the cabin is unoccupied? Because this area only for first-class passengers. You must look out for suspicious criminals. He was looking straight at me when he said that. My dear fellow, as you can plainly see, we are quite unsuspicious as criminals go. But still criminals. No, for goodness sake, Sholmes, tell the man. We need the suspicious, nor criminals. Ah, yes, quite right, Mikotoba. Curses, this seaman is far too able for his own good. Be extremely careful in what you say. One of us ought to be, yes. Alright, let's sound the alarms, baby. Here goes then. Pardon me in advance. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. You, what are you doing? If we're at sea, that'd be a very bad problem. What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganov, report at once. Sorry, sir, nothing to report. It was just a stupid trick. No, not by me, by world famous. No, as I told you. Now, Sholmes, now. And done. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Oh, don't stand there gawping at my guns, Mikotoba. In we go. Oh, yes. Whoosh. The Sgrouse. Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes. He's got a little, like, nightcap. Imagining Judge Jigoku wearing that is very funny. Those clothes on the floor there, they're Seishiro's without question. Well, it seems we were just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may be, well, 2 hours of worth of clues to find here. That burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed he may, which makes us all the more thrilling. According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe. Indeed he was, and it was of a similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow. Whatever for? It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience that moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment. I don't know why, but I'm getting hungry for avocado all of a sudden. Really, Sholmes, surely you could just tell me what you said. Well, I uttered some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer. I think I'll just read about it in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Guac time, yeah. Guac is the sound I would say that a dove makes after it coos. When it goes like, before it coos again. Guac. It's really cute that they like wheeze before they coo. Or after they coo. It depends on if they do before or after. Some of them do at different periods of time. Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it... Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off. Ice, Mikatoba, ice! What opulence first-class passengers enjoyed. Chilled drinks! Pardon? Could it be that the steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Uh-oh. If Gregson was killed here, his body was probably kept cool in the room. Well, it is a luxury liner, after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce, as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Suddenly, Mikatoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. Maybe I'll get sushi instead. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know. Did they even have something like that back then, an electric fridge? I mean, this is turn of the century, so this stuff is all new. There's a speaking tube here, look, though it's been stoppered with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed so, that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or... it could be to prevent snakes from entering. It's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? This is the waste paper basket, look, and there's still rubbish inside. Indeed, then let us pry. I've discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets. I sincerely hope that's only for your work. Ah. Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago. 3 days ago, the night before we arrived in London then, when I was still aboard myself. Evacuation drill notice, 31st October. Following departure from the port of Dunkirk, all crew members are... Let me read it, damn it! Ah, yes, there was an evacuation drill. I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. Evacuation drill itinerary has been entered in the court record. How? How is Naruhodo getting access to that? It was about a practice evacuation to be carried out by the crew of the SS Grouse the night before the ship arrived in Dover. It was found in Judge Jigoku's cabin. I can't even look at it, so there we go. These are the rules of passage. Magic. If you want bullshit, evidence warping in the series, in the 4th game, Apollo Justice, there's a thing in the very last case where you investigate the case in the present and in the past, like through kind of like a memory thing, and there's a point where you need a piece of evidence from the present to progress in the past section. And it's like, how does that work? Why would we suddenly have that piece of evidence in the past? These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and/or travel cases. It's a simulation, I guess, but that raises up many other problems. Well, See, the issue I have is that it's a simulation, but if I'm not mistaken, the present-day sections were supposed to take place simultaneously to that, or maybe, I don't know. Apollo Justice wasn't the best written Ace Attorney game. I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination. What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. You know what I always say, Mikotoba. There is nothing important about trifles. Probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Okay, we've covered our bases over here. That's a substantial heap of clothes on the floor. An overcoat, shirts, a dressing gown, momohiki work trousers, a Tanzan robe, a haramaki waistband. Clearly the clothing of a Japanese man. And clearly Japanese are unaccustomed to the culture of the wardrobe. Looks to me as if they've been thrown in a heap like that in something of a hurry. Indeed, you could help yourself to a Japanese man's shirt, perhaps. I'm sure you made mention of packing too few. I'd likely drown in one of Seishiro's shirts. No, I'll just buy any extras I need, I think. Let's case out that case. There's a very sizable trunk indeed. Seishiro's partial to all things large, and a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he left it behind. Perhaps he left it behind on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside. Surely 5 seconds from now the situation will be quite different, though. Wow, my voices really are just fucking up. Sadly not, it's a 7-digit combination lock. I'm sure there's no name that might be able to be read upside down that could do it. I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. Well, slightly different color here. Do you see? Indeed, what have you observed arises when a frame has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief. Now there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. He may very well be the elusive thief who's been plaguing France's galleries all of late. And perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall, though. I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. It's chicken. You are still here? Ah, Abelman Seaman Stroganoff, hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. You are waiting for me? Of course, I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. It's all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off now. Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow, but first, there is something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally, the debunking of your deceit and the barring of the truth. Kakoi! I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all. Ah! And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganov, you know exactly where the man is, even as we speak, don't you? He's in the chest. How can you? Good gracious, Sholmes, you mean you've worked it out? All of it? It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. So, would you care to join me for a dance of my inimitable logic and reasoning? Nothing would please me more. Are you kidding me? Are we actually going to get to see Sasato's father dance around like Naruhodo? What is this? We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganov, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that you go... Oh, there's a different theme, too. God, my computer's volume's almost at maximum. To get the volume this loud, that's sad. This Elgato, I really need to get a new Elgato, I think. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago. Duh, that is what I said. Sadly, that is a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. What? Ah, yes, of course. I see you've noted it too, Mikotoba. Then please, do take the lead. What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago? Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills then, Mikotoba. It's been 10 years since we last did the Sholmes, not 3. Why, of course it has, quite! Now, all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. And as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe, and the answers become clear. We'd imagine Professor Mikotoba dancing around with a 20-year-old, 24-year-old 10 years ago. So, impress me. I think I can manage that. Oh, there's no... Can't wait for you to get the first one right. It's gonna be ice.
Take that!
Oh, wow. Nice. Oh my god. Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass. How curious that the ice shouldn't have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. It would appear that the man here was in this very cabin until moments before our arrival. With his well-chilled glass in hand. Get your mind off refreshments, Jones. One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Would you agree, Mr. Stroganoff? But why would Seishiro run from us? Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on from your voyage from Japan? Ah, that's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door and Seishiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage. As I suspected, for you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide. What traces? I know nothing about this. Ah, this is news to you, isn't it, Mr. Stroganoff? Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure won't have escaped your notice. Something out of place here. That's the key to this, Mikotoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here being masked by something quite incongruous. I must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikotoba. No, quite, but life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now then, let's see if I can't uncover the truth here. Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow.
Take that!
It's incredible. It's the rules of passage in this frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put there in a hurry. Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded, that frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match. Duh, you're right. When did frame move? Probably the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Stroganoff? I would think that your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Ugh. Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall? And... oh, a bullet shot. There's gonna be blood. That looks like a bullet hole. What? Who's been shooting walls? I see, the projectile has been removed. Clearly the careful occupant of this room had already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff. Ah! I have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect the Eastern stranger? Ah, so we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. Ugh! I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by... I really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes. Ah, my dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle. I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I put a wager on it. So I'm to glare at the fellow from all sides. Well, I could certainly do that. A wad of banknotes.
Take that!
Give me the taps, bro. It's almost too obvious for words. Quite the universal language of the world. Money. Ugh. I wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Seishiro Jigoku, yes? Grr. So I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. I just realized at the time this game takes place, Nintendo already existed as a company. They were already making Hanafuda cards at this point, I think. The way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. But I believe you know, Mr. Stroganov. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. Yep, Nintendo was founded in 1889, and this takes place in the 1890s. As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yes, I think you're onto something, Mr. Sholmes. I think you found the chink in this burly fellow's armor. We need only to follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely displayed blink. Nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. Missed opportunity to pay homage to that. Yeah, I suppose so. I guess the idea of playing cards don't really come up. I'm sure there's some flavor text somewhere that mentions Hanafuda. Probably not Nintendo, but I think it escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. What they call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man turned his entire head. Not exactly what you describe as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. Question, when was Capcom founded? 1979. As a distributor of electronic game machines. You should let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow. Named Capcom is a clipped compound of capsule computers. That's interesting. So you have capsule computers for Capcom, and then you have service games for Sega, which actually is not a it's a Japanese company, but the founders of Sega were not Japanese, which is why the company has always had a lot of like ties to its American branches.
Take that!
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, did you not? The truth is, Seishiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is at this very moment doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk. That's funny, Tengen and Nintendo share a letter. Yes, 10. The 10, which is funny because then there's the 10 NES lockout ship, which Tengen questionably illegally duplicated. Or was that Atari that did that? I don't know. I have to rewatch a bunch of gaming historian videos. If he still has breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. I imagine he didn't count us making a nuisance of ourselves. Tengen's part of Atari. Oh, well, there you go. For so long, I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are we forgetting about the combination lock? You don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can't be opened from the inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure. Of course. In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside that trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. As I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganov. No, I know nothing about the combination code. Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk? How on earth do you expect me? 5231045. It's a 7-digit number, remember. Now, quickly now, we have little time. Review scene, okay. 2, 3. Up is going down, the numbers. It's messing me up here. 1045.
Take that!
Haha! That did it. It's open. You had to meddle, didn't you? How'd he fit in there? Well, Eugen, you found me now. Seishiro. I think I mentioned this before, but I like how his buttons are all the attorney badge from the later games, or from the later games timeline-wise. I was really hoping beyond hope not to find you here, you know. But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, not quite. I just wish it was some other way. Well, are you ever going to introduce me? Ah, your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read many stories of your exploits. Excuse my manners, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jigoku, my old friend and traveling companion. Your eyes are sharp like a hawk, which is funny because my eyesight is terrible. One of my eyes is definitely way worse than the other. It's partially colorblind too. I found out, like, it sees whites way differently. Like yellows and white show up way differently on my left eye than my right eye. The devil is in the details, Mikotoba. I believe you meant to say your old friend and traveling companion, who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour. I see my reputation precedes me well. What an honor. Yes, my left eye is definitely worse in terms of visibility. I have to be way closer to a screen without my glasses on with my left eye than I have to do with my right eye exposed. And yes, my left eye does see colors a little differently. Not super differently, but enough that I could tell when I'm looking at my wall. Because my wallpaper is cream colored, and it definitely looks like it's a different shade of cream with one eye versus the other way. Did ghosts touch your left eye? Can't say they did. It's just me staring at a computer screen for 34 years of my life. 35, sorry. Almost 35. 1 month and 1 week away from 35. Well, Seishiro, are you going to explain all this? You know it all by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here in this very ship. By the Reaper of the Bailey. Yes, I've since heard. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you. And I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find the symposium was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So you decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it? I'm afraid so, yes. Of course, I realize now that I really ought to have confided in you. It's somewhat surprising, I must say. What is? Well, first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available. So says the protagonist of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion. cabin did just happen to be available, so I purchased a ticket, and here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of the incident in this cabin. So you'd already purchased a return ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else from taking the cabin and seeing the evidence. Is that it? Eugen, I have nothing to say to you. Well, in a mere 5 minutes, this ship will set off on its onward voyage and make port again until Italy. Ah, my home and land. I make it to pizza. Actually, I'm from Sicily, which is largely considered the Staten Island of Italy. If you're from Sicily, you're Sicilian. You're not Italian. But I'm also Italian. Did I skip dialogue and not read it? You have no jurisdiction over my movements. We have this, Seishiro. Take it. What is it? It's a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British courts would be. You came prepared then, Eugen. Come on, let's go. One moment. What is it, Sholmes? Inside Mr. Jigoku's trunk. I found this rather fascinating trinket. Oh, it's the top of Gregson's watch. What is that, Seishiro? I'm afraid I can't help you. Some small component from something. But what? I have no idea. By the look on his face, I think he genuinely doesn't know. Well, let us pocket it as a small souvenir of our brief sojourn in France. Small machine part that Mr. Sholmes found in Judge Jigoku's cabin on the SS Grouse. Motherfucker, kick his butt, yeah. Well, young Maruhodo, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. November, 12:10 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Kazuma Asogi. I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie, but still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying. So he's lying by omission. During the past 30 minutes while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. I must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict.
Objection!
No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. You took my sword from me. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all relevant testimony. There can be only one conclusion, that the accused is guilty. All relevant testimony, far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court is yet to hear a single word of testimony. In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel. Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way, and scheduled to arrive tomorrow. Who on earth is this crucial witness? Seishiro Jigoku. The very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper. Judge Jigoku? You found him? But the investigation's a very policing resource in the capital suggests that Jigoku is already dead. How in the name of God did you find the man? Whoa, whoa. Let's not bring religion into this game, please. He was located in France during the recess, at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions. Herlock Sholmes! Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death. Because along with Prosecutor Asogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Which means that Seishiro Jigoku is the sole witness who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st October. Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point. The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered. In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side? No, my lord. No objections, my lord. This is the first time in how many games that the trials lasted more than 2 days? We live to fight another day by the skin of our teeth. This game and the first game, and the very first Ace Attorney, are the only 2 games that have 3-day trials. Now, are we really going to do a whole investigation here, though? Like, I feel like there's nothing more to investigate. Like, how much more evidence can I pile up at this point? Nope, we are doing an investigation. Okay. Cool. We could bang out maybe like 20 minutes of that before I have to stop. The unexpected halt of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. We've returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it. I believe you've had even more of a wearing day than Mikotoba and I know. You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. So this prosecutor Asogi had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse. When all this started, almost a year ago now. Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. About the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie. Now then, I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France. Well, it is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, what news of Judge Jigoku? Took him into Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man. Poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him. Ah, yes, I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put upon you the matter of only yesterday. You put upon me, Mr. Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well. Oh, you had a reply already? What was so urgent, though, Mr. Sholmes? Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present. That food does look good. I could go for that whole-ass turkey. Actually, what am I saying? I don't like turkey. I'm not a fan of poultry. Well, that's good news, because supper's ready, everyone. Ah, what a feast it is. If I were none the wiser, I'd think the trial were run already. Roast beef, kippers, stew, steak, and kidney pie. Yorkshire pudding. I don't see any roast beef there. I see a bird. I don't see beef, steak. Cannibalism, not so fun. Yeah, everyone makes that joke. To be honest, I don't hate chicken. Plain turkey, though, like the kind you have at Thanksgiving, is like, ah, no. It's so dry, I don't like it. Yorkshire pudding. Yo, they made a whole city pudding? What the fuck? Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up. In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant as well. Oh, that's what it is. It's pheasant. Oh, sorry, Hurley, not there. Why have I not? While we set places this evening? Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy. For me? That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey. I see. Well, that's terribly kind of you. It's a shame, really. What do you mean? Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. That Susie and I were half-sisters, I mean. Oh! Frames, why are you dropping now? It's 3 in the morning. Who else is using my internet? Iris, do you mean... Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. I secretly listened in on the conversation you had, after I tricked you all into thinking I left. What? The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris's father. Oh. That's interesting. Yes, about that, Iris. You know I know. You can't tell me at the moment. Years ago. Oh shit, is she Clint's daughter? Uh-oh. Oh, Iris. So who was Dr. Wilson? Like, how does Dr. Wilson tie into all this? Is Dr. Wilson the one who helped the professor escape? Why did Giselle Brett kill him? Oh man, that's still a huge mystery to me. The pheasant is by way of apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping. Oh, no, that's quite alright. Then why don't I get any apologetic pheasant? None for you, Hurley. So just who is Iris's father? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today. So then, let us dine while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot. Fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious. Stroke. Eat as much as you like. There's always seconds. This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan. The Japanogram. Wait. And about Kazuma. Can't let this opportunity slip away. Still checked. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a little while and look on with hungry eyes. Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy. Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer. Mr. Sholmes, can I discuss some things with you? Certainly, my dear fellow, I find myself in quite the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt, you're hungry to learn more of my deep love of the game. Excuse me. I could probably contain my curiosity on that one. You needn't look at me in that fashion. In what fashion? It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss. The Japanogram. So it wasn't that telegram you received back from Japan, then? Ah, this... I thank my lucky stars it arrived in time. Record found as indicated. Duplicate follows. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. Oh, it's the stuff we found in the Morse code at the end of the last game. So, all of those people are dead aside from Kazuma at this point. And we assume that they must have some ties to the Reaper or something. What? Those 4 names? We've come across that same exact list before. They came up in that unforgettable case last spring. What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. A plot that involved the sale of a British governmental secrets to foreign states. In exposing the means by which those secrets are being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. K. Asogi, A. Sheen, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. Technically, it was listed as in katakana, so it was T. Gudegusen and J. Widusen, if I'm not mistaken. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now? Yes, where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes? I have here the message I've wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected and investigate the telegram records. Hey, Sour Cream, what's up? Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names. Need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. I sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature. It's your birthday tomorrow. I didn't know that. I'll be here, so happy early birthday regardless. You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you? And in my name? And what guises he opted for this time? My dear fellow, it's a matter of great urgency, you understand? Anyway, the list of names was found in Seishiro's office, as Sholmes predicted. So you mean that mysterious collection of names was sent from Britain to Japan was... It was sent to Judge Jigoku. He was the intended recipient. I don't believe it. But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies. It's getting late. I'm going to trip over my words here. I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. Telegram from Inspector Hosonaga in Japan with details of the telegram he managed to locate by stealing into Judge Jigoku's office. I'll give you a birthday gift art. No! Don't give me gift art for your own birthday. I can't do art, but I'll talk to you about something. If you actually want to give me birthday art, it's next month. It's the 26th of June, which is a Sunday this year. But honestly, I wouldn't ask for that for you, especially after all the random art you've just given me over the months. Oh yeah, I finally have this. See those little things all over the place, don't you? It's part of the top pocket watch that you twist to set the time, isn't it? It's called the crown, I believe. A watch would be quite useless without one. Oh, excuse me. The crown, like what sits atop a monarch's head? It's a very grand name for such a tiny part. But actually, yes, Mr. Naruhodo? If this is a crown, I have a feeling I might have seen a monarch around here somewhere with a very bare head. If by monarch you mean pocket watch, then I'm quite sure you have. do you think, Mrs. Sato? I feel sure I know exactly what will fit here. Really? I was just thinking precisely the same thing. We're about to see that little round component. It's actually part of Gregson's broken pocket watch. Really? I was just thinking precisely that too. Boop. Perfect fit. I knew it. Alright, perhaps you knew it. I'll make a note of this new information at once. Small machine part that was found in Mr. Sholmes... that Mr. Sholmes found in Judge Goku's cabin. It's now clear it's missing the crown of... It's the missing crown of Inspector Gregson's pocket watch. Wait, no. Then look at the... telegram. Okay, that's it. Oh yeah, all crew members are required to assemble on the main deck at 10 p.m. in order to review evacuation procedures. The drill will take 20 minutes. Crew to resume duties as soon as the drill is over. Okay, so that'll come up tomorrow, probably. Kazuma's death. That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Burya. It was all for nothing. Kazuma wasn't dead at all. I remember, like, almost crying at the end of that case, too. That case was so sad. I felt so bad for Miss Pavlova, because, like, she killed someone completely on a misunderstanding, by accident, too. She didn't mean to kill anyone. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us, your great detective's lie. I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. What? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan. His remains, you mean? Precisely, Mrs. Sato. And then, I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead. Oh my, you mean... The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Asogi, I would successfully prevent that man from arriving on our shores for several years at least. Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma to coming to Britain? That's why you... Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who actually quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England? Terms of a study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know? All you require is one lawyer, and a study tour can continue, surely. But there's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. So, you manipulated me? I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend. I don't believe this. But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as a murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her? Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought. Ah, thank God. Thank God. If I was gonna find out Pavlova was, like, still in jail because of all this, I would have been heartbroken. I seem to remember Mrs. Sato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure. wonder if she made it to America then. I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain? The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see. Oh! An omen that, at this very moment in time, is close at hand. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand. We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. There was no room for doubt with your instructions in this telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was Judge Jigoku's office that should be searched. So, you obviously knew that's where this list of names would be found. Yosogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. We only learned of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now, and only because they appeared as part of the top-secret government communications that were leaked. That's true, yes, but at the time, you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months before that, approximately this time last year. In fact, when you were both still in Japan. I do have a Discord, and I do have Telegram as well. Here, I mean, everyone here already knows it, so. There you go. Feel free to reach out whenever. Approximately this time last year when you were both still in Japan. It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets. Because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments. You're perpetually doing what? How? Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes when he has designs on knowing it. Oh my, Mr. Sholmes, what a fabulous line. Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan. Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. As soon as I learnt of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct, and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that were to follow. Mr. Sholmes, please, tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy of which they're all somehow connected. As I said, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names because, you see, there was someone else on the list, who I believe to be recently deceased. What? Who? A. Shin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script. In actual fact, Miss Assassin. That was a familiar one to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes. Oh, I see. But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder, and turned up in Japan. Nihon, as it were. Tags here. What? Sorry. Now that I mentioned Discord, I'm like checking my Discord. I should finish. I need to finish up here. Honestly, it's getting late. So I came to the logical conclusion that she herself had been killed, and accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list. Ah, Keisogi and T. Gregson. Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself. but I determined it would be safest if young Asogi were to stay away from Britain. Ah, so that's why you went to such lengths to prevent a study tour from going ahead. Exactly. So you already know who Kazuma-sama was, Mr. Sholmes. Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I've recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letters. The news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course. So, Dr. Wilson is dead then? I didn't know. Oh, Iris. I know he wasn't my daddy, but still. It's very sad. I'm so sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No. What you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis. A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, yes. You mean about Asashin, I presume? Of course. Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett. I'm glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow. But I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago, in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel. Ah! And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypothesis that I'd formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy. What? Topsy? What do you mean when you say your hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Sholmes? I believed all 4 names on the list to be the names of victims. However, I was mistaken. Very much so. Asashin was a killer. So this telegram is about the list So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it? Indeed. And it would seem that Miss Sheen was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status being merely a front. Ah! Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions. So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Asashin is because he was the target of an assassin. Oh, wrong voice. He was the target of an assassination. Before armed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective. What do you mean? Well, does it not strike you? There's another among the 4, who subsequently became a visiting student. Wait, you mean... But of course, a name you know only too well. You mean Kazuma? Oh! He did say in court earlier today. What's up? So wait. Young Mr. Asogi accepted that mission a year ago now. Surely not. In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange. An assassin exchange? How could Kazuma possibly have gotten involved in something like that? So that's why he accompanied Gregson. Let's assume that we have 2 parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those 2 parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassination exchange. So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then, the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target, What the fuck is happening here? It certainly does sound like an exchange. But what on earth is the point? Don't forget, Naruhodo. The British assassin has at least escaped conviction, thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by the consular jurisdiction. Oh yes. Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our countries. So the fact that it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels. The highest levels? Great, so strong farts involved. These murders were two sides of the same coin, linked not by a common motive, but by a contractual agreement. As such, they appear utterly unrelated, yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. That disassociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. But wait a minute, Sholmes. This telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting. It means the Japanese killer's target was never Seishiro Jigoku at all. It would mean Asogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson. What? Kazuma was here for Gregson? So Judge Jigoku wasn't actually the mark? Yes, that's exactly what it would mean. I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes. I told him all my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously, with the young pickpocket in tow. Yes, Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention to us at the Great Exhibition that he'd been transferring to the Paris Police Department and taking Gina with him. But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last. This is too much to take in. I don't understand why Kazuma agreed to this, though. Alright, everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hurley? I mean, look at the time. Ah, quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations? Preparation H, apparently. My asshole is burning after all this. Well, I think I should make my way back to my hotel room now. This has certainly been a night to remember. It is a little bit sad, though. I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Because then Susie would have been my big sister. Made it all the way to Preparation X. I'm sorry, Iris. I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? Oh, you're weird. But if somebody were like me would be worthy, I'd be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh, yes, without question. So you'll teach me all the ways you know to throw Runo on the floor? Yes, yes, of course. That would be my pleasure. You didn't have to agree quite so readily. Oh, but wait a minute. If Susie's going to be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want, Runo. Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother. Well done, Iris. You must always be mindful of feelings. Raised you so well. Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally. Right. I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now. Because it's for my big brother and sister. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what? We'll just have to wait and see. Oh. Good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance. I'll do my very best, of course. What the fuck is gonna happen tomorrow? So the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truths while posing new conundrums. that list of 4 names in the telegram in Judge Jigoku's office, and the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I'd been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. At the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon. Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. That was a nice shot. Did they actually ever mention what happened to his parents? Like his real parents? Alright, we're already at the second trial at this point, so... but it is time to stop. It is 3:45 in the morning, and I need to go to bed in, like, 30 minutes. And they never talk about any of the family, like, the actual family members of the Wrights. Meanwhile, Apollo, that's, like, his whole arc. 4th November, 9:30, Old Bailey... Oh, we're already in the courtroom. Alright, let's back out of this real quickly. Alright, we're close to the end. I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 more streams of this left. I still have to get 1 accolade outside of the normal completion one. Yeah, this is finishing the last case. This is getting all of them, and this is a question mark. I know it's something in this last trial, but I could have swore it's... I don't know. Have you watched a series called Epithet Erased? No, never heard of it. I'll look that up. I don't like the fact that there's question mark accolades in this game when it's like... It's all based on text choices. Tell me what I need to do. Alright, well... We're reaching the climax here. Very close to the end. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Always appreciate it. I always do. Always, 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 always. I mean it for real. I'm not being facetious. I always appreciate everyone who comes by. Series on YouTube might help you there. Ooh, interesting. Oh, I didn't know you recorded for this. Cool, I might check that out. I will be back likely tomorrow to do more of this. I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm not going anywhere this weekend, so I might do Friday, Saturday streams. I'm gonna need a day off before Friday, though, so I might not be here Thursday because I have something to do May 20th by 11:59 p.m. EST. Well, maybe I'll be here. I don't know. It depends. I have an audition I need to get done, so I'll see how quickly I get it done beforehand. But yeah, more of this. We'll go back to Stanley Parable 2. This weekend, I'll probably do Kirby 64 when it comes out on Switch. Also, the Pokemon Home update is being rolled out between, I think, today and tomorrow. So I'll finally be able to do... the final Brilliant Diamond stream, where I blow out all the rematches and the Battle Tower. So expect that at some point as well. And yeah, that's kind of it for the foreseeable week or so. We'll see how many streams I actually do. Thank you for coming, as always. If you want to check out more streams, check out twitch.tv/team/wildabandon. Plenty of people streaming there right now. Or you could stick around for the auto host if there's anyone on it that's streaming right now. I don't think there is, because it's late. Have a good night. I will see you all, or maybe some of you, I don't know, tomorrow. Good night.